Hello there, and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. Over the past couple of auctions, I've been working at the table to put fish away, and there have been a couple of things that I've noticed. One, there have been some fish that have been bagged in brown water, which I find unacceptable. And secondly, there have been some other mistakes, like too small of a bag for too big of a fish, and also too much water in the bag. So today, I'm going to show you how to properly bag a fish to remedy some of these problems so that you're successful at your next local club auction. So let's go ahead and get started with bagging our fish. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the preparation. I have this group of Omeka Splendens that I've caught out of their main display tank and will be giving them to another member of my local club. To avoid contaminating your bag, you'll ideally want to keep the fish in a separate container for 2 to 3 days prior to bagging them. In this case, I have a critter container. A lot of times though, I'll use some 2-gallon tanks that I have stored just for this purpose. Most importantly, you'll not want to feed your fish during this time. I have found by doing this that it allows the fish to excrete any waste from its system so that you're not contaminating the bag with any feces or ammonia. So let's go ahead and talk about all the items that you need to bag your fish. First of all, you have your fish in your holding container. Hopefully you've pulled them out early and they've been able to purge their digestive system. In this plastic container here, I have clean aged water that is close to the same temperature that your fish were currently living at. This is the water that you use to bag your fish. Using this clean water will help significantly with eliminating the brown water problem, since there won't be any tannins or anything in this clean water. Now you want to use fish bags that are appropriate for the size of your fish. In this case, I'm putting the fish in 2 separate bags. I prefer tying my bags, so I prefer my bags to be 2 millimeters thick. For security reasons, I also recommend double bagging your fish, so I added an additional 2 bags. Please do not use Ziploc bags as they split easily and can cause leaks and spills. If you happen to be in a bind and don't have any aquarium bags, you can also use a clean Gatorade bottle since it seals and is clear so you can see your fish. I currently purchase my fish bags from either Uline or Kent's Fish, but there are plenty of places that you can find fish bags. To eliminate excess ammonia, I also use these ammonia reducing pads that I purchased from the Aquarium Co-op. It comes in a sheet, which I then cut into cubes, and I then store it in this empty Extreme container. One of the most important things is to clearly label your bags. Since I don't have the best handwriting, I just use a label maker, but if you have good handwriting, you could just use a Sharpie. The final thing that I use is this plastic sealer, which you can find inexpensively on Amazon. I use this to crimp the corners of the bag so the fish doesn't get stuck in the corners. You could also use packaging tape for this purpose. So let's go ahead and get started with bagging our fish. The first thing you're going to do is you're actually going to use your plastic sealer. So basically what you want to do is you want to crimp the corners of your bag. So you want to set it in the crimper at a 45-degree angle, and you just want to press down on it. I'll usually count to 5 or so, and then I'll pull up on the lever. And then you want to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason you want to do this is so that the fish don't get caught in the corners of the bag and get squished. If you don't want to buy the plastic sealer, you could also do this with some packaging tape and then tape the corners shut once you're done bagging the fish. So now that we've crimped 2 of the bags, I actually like to use these Aquarium Co-op critter keepers to hold the bags. And then all you want to do is fill your bag, I'd say about 1/4 of the way full of water. And what's nice is if you've crimped the corners, the bag stands up perfectly. So the next step is to get the fish into the bag. And to do this, I actually like to use these little shrimp nets. Obviously, if you have a bigger fish, you obviously want to use something bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and net 3 of these guys out. And just put them, make sure the bag's open and put them right in the bag. So now that we have the fish in the bag, the next step of this operation is the ammonia pad. I'm just going to take one of these ammonia pads and put it in our bag. So finally, it's actually time to tie our bag. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the critter keeper. I'm going to go ahead and kind of grab it here in the middle, and then I'm going to turn it a couple times, trapping the air. To avoid stressing the fish, I'm actually going to turn it by hand at the top, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot. And then when I tie the knot, I want to make sure I pull it tight, pushing it down on the bag, so it's a nice tight bag. So before I double bag it, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off some of the excess bag here, just so that it looks a little bit better. It also makes it a little bit easier to see once it's sitting on the table. So now I'm going to go ahead and take one of the bags that I didn't crimp, go ahead and put the tied side down, put it into the bag, and then just double bag it. Now sometimes you'll get some air down here. You just want to push that out if you start getting a lot of air down there. So then I'm just going to tie it again like I did the first time. And there you go. So now you have your fish bagged. So you have plenty of air in there. So the fish have plenty of oxygen. You have the ammonia pad to suck up any ammonia, and you don't have too many fish in here. And then the last step is you want to put on your label. I really personally like to have this printed. It's just a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. Some of the things you want to include on your label, obviously the Latin name, the common name, any location information if you're selling something that's a little bit rare. These are Ameca splendens with a very specific location, so all that information's on there. And then also you want to make sure you have the quantity of fish that's in the bag, and also if it's a male-female pair or if it's unsexed, you want to include that as well. And then finally, if you are selling this at an auction, you do want to put your contact information if that's not already on something that the club gives you. So I usually like to put my name and my email address. That's the way I would prefer people to contact me. Some people like to put their phone numbers, but either way, you just put your information on the bag as well so someone can get a hold of you if they have any questions or run into a problem. So I just go ahead at this point and then just stick the label on. And there you go, you have your bag of fish. So I ended up bagging up both groups of fish. I got everything labeled, everything's ready to go, and they should be good to go ahead and give them to my friend at the swap. I hope that you got something out of this video on how to bag fish. I found with this skill, there's definitely a learning curve. If you do anything different than I do, please let me know in the comments section. We're all here to learn. One thing that I didn't cover in depth was picking the right bag for your situation. For example, if I were shipping these fish, instead of taking them to an auction, I would probably bag them individually in a 3 or 4 inch wide bag so that if one died, all of the other fish would not be affected. If I were bagging larger fish, I would be extremely careful about overcrowding, especially with large cichlids. I'd also use a much larger bag and maybe only put 1 or 2 fish per bag and then put the whole group of cichlids in a box. I would avoid overcrowding your fish as much as possible, whether they be large or small. It just leads to problems if you have too many fish in the bag. This was something that I noticed from some of the sellers at my local auction. Like I said earlier, bagging fish is a learning curve that we're all on. I hope this video was helpful for you. So with that, thank you for watching, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.